My name is Brooklyn. This is Lena.
My name is Skylar.
Knock knock. Who's there? Who?
Who?
Are you an owl? It's time to wake up an warship.
It all began with a spark. The spark caught fire in my heart, and I can see it lighting up the dark. And now it's burning brighter than ever. It's down deep in my soul. The fire burning out of control. It's love and I gotta let it show. It's changing my world for the better. So raise one hand high, feel your light in the sky. We're gonna keep it shining forever. It's brightest when we're shining together. This little light up, I'm gonna let it shine. And in the darkest, I'll be the brightest. No covering up, no shutting it down, no blowing it out. I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine. We're shining brighter than the sun. We're lighting up the world for everyone. And no, we're never quitting, never done. We're only getting brighter and brighter. So raise one hand high, feel your light in the sky. We're gonna keep it shining forever. It's brightest when we're shining together. This little light up, I'm gonna let it shine. And in the darkest, I'll be the brightest. No covering up, no shutting it down, no blowing it out. I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine.
This little light of mine, maybe it used to be little, but now it's a wildfire. It's growing bigger and bigger and bigger. Can't shut it down, can't blow it out, can't hide it now. It's shining around the world and getting hotter now. So throw your light up, come on, raise it higher. We're gonna start a fire, it's only getting brighter. So burn bright in the night for the world to see. This little light is bringing change and it
So
starts with
raise
me.
one hand high, feel your light in the sky. We're gonna keep it shining forever. It's brightest when we're shining together. This little light up, I'm gonna let it shine. And in the darkest, I'll be the brightest. No covering up, no shutting it down, no blowing it out. I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light up, I'm gonna let it shine. And in the darkest, I'll be the brightest. No covering up, no shutting it down, no blowing it out. I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine. Where do I go when there's no one else to turn to? Who do I talk to when no one wants to listen? Who do I lean on? When there's no foundation stable, I go to the rock. I know He is able. I can go to the rock. I can go to the rock of my salvation. I go to the stone that the builders rejected. I run to the mountain, and the mountain stands by me. When all around me is sinking sand, on Christ the solid rock I stand. When I need a shelter, when I need a friend, I can go to the rock. Where do I go when there's no one else to turn foundation stable. I go to the rock. I know he is able. I can go to the rock. I can go to the rock of my salvation. I go to the stone that the builders rejected. I run to the mountain, and the mountain stands by me. When all around me is sinking sand, on Christ the solid rock I stand. When I need a shelter, when I need a friend, I can go to the rock. On Christ this rock I stand. All other ground is sinking sand. On Christ this rock I stand. All other ground is sinking sand. On Christ this rock I stand. All other ground is sinking sand. On Christ this rock I stand. All other ground is sinking sand. I can go to the rock of my salvation. I go to the stone that the builders rejected. I run to the mountain, and the mountain stands by me. When all around me is sinking sand, on Christ the solid rock I stand. When I need a shelter, when I need a friend, I can go to the rock. I can go to the rock.
Good morning, friends. I hope you had an incredible Easter and a wonderful time celebrating Jesus yesterday. I'm so excited to keep looking at the story of Jesus with you. This weekend, if you were with us for our Sunday Kids gathering, we looked at how following God's plan is not always easy. Sometimes there are parts of it that seem really hard, maybe even impossible, but we have to trust God that He's still working and He has a plan. We saw in Romans 8:28 that God works all things together for the good of those that love God and are called according to His purpose. That means when we follow God's plan, we can trust Him, that even when things seem really hard in the moment, that He is working and He's got something in store for us. We're going to look at that all week, but remember, we saw that with the disciples and Jesus. When Jesus was on the cross and then He died and was buried in the tomb, to the disciples, that probably seemed impossible. They were worried and they forgot that God had a plan. They needed to trust Him and know that God was working, because we know Jesus was going to rise from the dead and then amazing things were going to continue happening. The Bible tells us that we will go through hard times too. That wasn't something that just happened for Jesus and His followers. It still happens today. And the Bible tells us how we should react when that happens. And what it says might surprise you. It says in James chapter 1, verse 2, "When troubles of any kind come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy." So it's saying that when hard times come, when troubles come, anything hard, a trial, a test that you're going through, that should be an opportunity, a chance for you to have great joy. Joy is like happiness or excitement, but even better because it doesn't go away just because things around you are bad. You stay joyful even in the hard times. And the Bible says that when hard times come, when there's a test, a trial, something around you seems difficult, be excited, have joy. Now, that might sound a little bit confusing. Why are we supposed to be joyful in the hard times? And how can we be joyful in the hard time? And so I wanted to think about that a little bit with you. I was thinking about right now when I was reading this. We're kind of in a hard time. We're kind of in a test, a trial. Maybe things around you seem really difficult. A few weeks ago, when all of this started, all of the Rock staff here at the church got together and had a meeting. And we started talking about what it means with all of this happening, that we couldn't meet with you. We wouldn't be able to see you for a while, that we would have to change the way we were doing things, that some people we know, even us, might get sick. There might be something hard that happens, but that we should trust that God was still working. We were meeting and talking about what we were going to do for the next few weeks so that we could still teach Jesus. And there was a time in the meeting where we had a chance to talk about how we were feeling and what we were thinking for our plan. When I started thinking about that for myself and how I was feeling, I was a little sad because I knew I wasn't going to see you for a while and I would miss you. You're my friends and I love you, and I love when we get to spend time with each other on the weekend. So I was a little bit sad. I was also a little bit nervous because I knew it meant that we had to change our plan. We would have to change the way we would teach you, the way that we would spend time with you would look different, and we needed to come up with something. But I knew that there was a chance here for great joy, great excitement. In fact, even though everything around us seemed a little bit crazy and a little bit wild, I was really excited, even in the hard time, because I knew that God already had a plan, that He was working, and if we would let Him, He would use this hard time to do something amazing, bigger than we could even imagine, because that's how God works. Yeah, it's a little sad. Yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking, and it's very different, but it's so exciting because God works even in the hard times. The rest of that passage in James where it says, when hard times come, consider it an opportunity for great joy, tells us how that is possible and why we should be excited. You might be in a hard time too. Maybe when you got the news that you couldn't be at school for a while, maybe that was hard for you. Or when you found out you couldn't go to the playground and slide on the slides for some time, that was probably sad. I know my kids miss going to McDonald's and playing in the play place. There are things happening right now that maybe we look around and it seems hard to see why we should be excited, why we should be joyful, even in the hard times. Remember, the disciples probably felt that way, but they needed to trust God's plan. Here's what James says: consider it an opportunity for great joy, for you know that when your faith is tested, when that hard time comes, your endurance has a chance to grow, so let it grow. What it's saying is, in the hard times, if you trust God, your faith, your belief, your trust for Him will grow so much. The Bible promises that when we are weak, God is strong. When we don't know what to do, He is there. When I am sad, I experience God's comfort. When I'm nervous and I don't know what to do, I can ask His plan and He'll show it to me. In the hard times, there's a chance for God to shine big in your life and in everything going on around you. And so even hard times are a chance for great joy, to be excited about what God is doing. I wanted to explain it a little bit like this. Think about these two weights. So I have this one. This is only 2 pounds. It's really small. It's kind of cute, right? Think about this as easy times, and I want you to think about this one as hard times. This is 25 pounds. It's pretty heavy. So if I was working out and trying to get really strong, let's say I'm like doing some arm curls here with this 2-pound weight. I could do this, honestly, probably all day, and I'm not gonna get much stronger because it's not very heavy, it's very easy. This is like the easy times in our lives, where we're going along and we're trusting God, but trusting God is easy because it's not very heavy, it's not very hard, and things are going our way. Now, think about this 25-pound weight as the hard times. This is a lot heavier. Maybe you could go around your house and try and find something that weighs 25 pounds. Maybe you have a really little brother or sister who's like 1 year old. Maybe they weigh 25 pounds. Your parents might not want you to use them to work out though. You can go look for something that's kind of heavy, heavier than you can lift comfortably. Now, if I lift this the first time, it might seem almost impossible, or maybe I can just do a few. But then if I try it again the next day, then maybe I'll get a little bit stronger. And a couple days from now, I could probably do it 10 times. A month from now, I could probably do it 25 times because I'll get a lot stronger, a lot faster, because this weight is heavier and harder to bear. That's how it is with our faith. When the times are easy, our faith, our trust in God, it can grow. But it grows faster when we have the harder time, the heavier weight, because we need God. And He shows up and shines big when everything around you seems unknown or crazy or hard. And so the hard times are exciting times because they mean, even though they're going to be difficult, that God is going to show up. He's going to be huge in your life working, and your faith, your trust in him has a chance to grow so much faster than if it just stayed easy times. So like James says, if you're facing something hard, be excited because God is working. We saw that in Jesus' life with the disciples. Even though the situation seemed sad, it seemed impossible, it seemed like everything they had lived for the last 3 years was totally gone, they could trust that God was still working and that he works things together for our good if we're following his plan. And so in the hard moment, don't forget, God's already working and you can trust that. And he'll do something amazing even through your hard time if you let him. And so be excited. If you face hard times, you can trust God with them because he's already at work. I'll see you tomorrow at 9:45.